Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Monday, the 6th day of Elul, and today we say the three extra chapters in Tehillim, the Psalms, chapters 16, 17, and 18. Let's begin with Tzedakah. Gedola, Tzedakah shemekarebes asa geula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So we are in the middle of chapter 12 in Igeret Hakodesh. The Alter Rebbe discusses what does it mean peace. In the beginning of this letter, the Alter Rebbe talked about the verse that says that the actions of tzedakah leads to peace, and the work of tzedakah leads to quietness and tranquility and security. And he's going to explain the different, what the meaning of this means. What is peace and what is tranquility? What's the difference? What is the actions of tzedakah and the work of tzedakah? So he began with explaining what is peace, and last study we learned about what it says, Oseh Shalom b'mromav, that Hashem makes peace above there, among the angels, between the angels. And we explained yesterday that there is the angel Michael, who represents Chesed, kindness. The angel of Gabriel represents Gevura, restriction, and God is the one who makes peace between them. Now, what does it mean making peace between them? So, there's two ways of making peace. You can make peace between two opposites. We said, for example, the Chesed is represented by water, and Gevura is represented by fire. How do you make peace between water and fire? You can separate them. The water is in one place and the fire is another place, and then they don't get in touch with each other. Each one lives in their own space. Good fences makes good neighbors, and want to have peace. You put the people. You make separations between the people, and each one lives in their own world. I've known some people said about marriage also. As the joke goes, the guy says he has a very good marriage. I said, what's the secret? He says, we go out twice a week. I go out on Sunday and she goes out on Thursdays. So putting separations, that can also bring peace. There's no fights. But is that real peace? Is that true peace? Of course not. The higher level of peace is unifying. And how do you unify opposites? Sometimes you need to reveal the common denominator, the common goal, how they both come from a deeper source. Within the source, they're all united. The example that is given to it is to ministers of a king. Back in the days, a king was someone in a high level, and the ministers, everyone is nullified to the king. You bow down to the king. But yet the king appoints ministers, and each one is responsible for a certain department. And not always are the interests of the different departments go together. They come in conflict. The minister of the treasury, he wants to save the money, not to spend the money. There's the minister of the security, minister of war. He needs to spend money, and sometimes the interests don't come together. Or the minister of health minister, and so they all are not. They have conflicting interests. However, once the king walks into the room, they are all nullified. They're all nullified to the king. All their interests is nullified within the bigger interest, and that is to fulfill the king's wishes. And when they come to realize that really they are all working for the same goal, that they're working for the interest of the king, and the king is interested to have the country should be safe and should be secured. And so that is what unites them, the higher goal. Children also, sometimes you can separate them, but then you can unite them by showing them the higher goal, or at least the parent sees both sides because he looks from a different perspective. The Alter Rebbe talks about the love between your fellow Jew. How can one really get to the point of Ahavat Israel, love a fellow Jew, is by realizing that in the root, in the source of our neshama, we are really one. So this is when we're talking about the attributes, the different attributes, godly attributes, the attribute of chesed, which is giving, the attribute of gevura, which is restricting, that seem to be conflicting attributes, that when they are being revealed, the higher source, which in essence in Kedusha, in holiness, everything is about giving. So even the restricting attribute is not a restricting not to give. It is a restricting because it says it wants to give, but in the right measure, or to give to those who deserve. So you have the attribute of giving, chesed, is giving without any calculations, and the attribute of restricting is giving with calculations, and only those who deserve. But then you have to make peace between them is when they are being revealed the higher level, their source, which is above limitations. And this is the combination of both. That is called the tiferes, the beauty, which is a combination, just like beauty combines different colors. It's not one color. It makes a harmony of different colors, the white and the red, as we'll soon see. And that is the way Hashem makes peace between the angels. And that is the way, what Alter Rebbe will explain later, is that tzedakah brings about this kind of peace from Hashem. So let's see inside what Alter Rebbe says. It says, Hakodesh Baruch Hu oiser sholem b'neim, but the Holy One, blessed be He, makes peace between them, so that they should not oppose one another. The Chesed and the Gevura, the angel Michael and angel Gavriel. דהיינו, על ידי גילוי שמסגל בין האור הרבה והשפוע עצומה מאוד, מאור אינסוף ברוך הוא. How is it happening? Through a revelation, so that an immense illumination and an intense effusion from the infinite Ein Sof light is revealed within them. So when the higher light is revealed within them, that is when they lose their limitations and they become joined in harmony to the higher goal. Who, for like his name, Ein Sof, which means the infinite one, so is he. He is not heaven forfend on the measured plane of an attribute, but it transcends exceedingly ad infinitum, without limits. The Ein Sof is higher even than the intellectual attributes, which is the source of the emotive attributes. Even the rank of the intellectual faculties of Chabad, which is the source of the attributes, the emotive attributes, and surely he transcends the attributes themselves. ואזי, המידוס נגדיס של מיכאל וגבריאל נכלולס במקוירן ושרושן והויו לאחודים ממש. And then, when God's infinite light is revealed within the attributes, the opposing attributes of Michael and Gavriel, Chesed and Gevura, are absorbed in their source and root, and they become truly unified. ובתהילים באור יזברך המאיר להם מבחינת גילוי. And they are nullified in his light, which radiates in them in a manifest way. What happens then when they're unified? Which one dominates then? Does the chesed dominate, or the Gevura dominates, the giving or the restricting. So the Alter Rebbe says that when they unify, the Gevuris becomes sweetened by the Chesed. Because ultimately, Kedusha, holiness, is about giving. So the Gevura is being sweetened by the Chesed, and the Chesed becomes dominant. So it tilts towards the Chesed. ואז המסמסקים, הגבורס בחסדים, the Gevuras are thereby tempered and mellowed, and become sweetened in the Chasadim, and are transformed into good and kindness. And this is done through the intermediary level, which combines them and is above both of them, and that is the level, the attribute of mercy, attribute of compassion. By a mediary, the determinant factor between Chesed and Gevura, which leans towards Chesed, and that is the attribute of Rachamim, mercy. So basically, we can summarize it in a very simple way. Chesed is about giving with no calculations. It's about the person who gives. It's about the giver. Gevura is about restricting and about judgment, judging whether the receiver is qualified and worthy to receive. And then Rachamim is mercy. Rachamim is like saying to Chesed, and to Gevura, that person may not be deserving. It's not about giving endlessly without calculation, but it's about giving a person who is in need, even if he doesn't deserve. So the compassion, the mercy, is about giving to those in need. And that is called Tiferes. Anikras b'shem Tiferes b'divrei Chachmihem, as the attribute of Rachamim is called Tiferes. Tiferes literally means beauty, in the terminology of the Kabbalist, which he calls the scholars of truth. And it is called beauty because this is the harmony. Beauty is something when you harmonize different opposites and you bring them in harmony. This is what makes something beautiful. And here, this is the harmony of the kindness and the giving and the restricting, and harmonizes them both. Like it says, the color white and the color red. White represents chesed, red represents judgment. Because it is made up of two colors, white and red, which allude to the chesed and the gvura respectively. So Rachamim is therefore called Tiferes because there is beauty in the harmony of diverse colors. And this is the Alter Rebbe, the name Hashem, Avaya, the tetragrammaton, the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, the Hey, usually refers to that level of Tiferes. Havaya sometimes is accompanied with other names of God also, Hashem, Elohim, and so on, Hashem Tzevaot. But when it says Avaya by itself, usually it alludes to Tiferes. ולכן סתם שם Havaya ברוך הוא שבכל התורה מעיד על מידס Tiferes, the divine name Havaya, the tetragrammaton, as it appears unqualified throughout the Torah, therefore indicates the attribute of Tiferes, כמה שכתוב בזוהר הקודש, as it's stated in the sacred Zohar. And why is that? Because Tiferes is about the revelation, that deeper aspect of Hashem, the endless light, which enables bringing the peace and the harmony and unifying the other attributes. For here in Tiferes, the infinite Ein Sof light becomes manifest in an immense illumination. surpassing that of the other divine attributes. So this then is the meaning of the above quotation, that he makes peace in his high places. The revelation of God's infinite light makes peace between Michael and Gabriel, who represent Chesed and Gevurah. So this is the end of today's shir, and we shall continue with Hashem tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.